Hi, welcome to Serious Fishing TV. Today what we're going to go over is a couple of my battery pack options. I've had a couple of subscribers request a video on how I put my battery packs together. So I'm going to go over a couple of the ins and outs on how I constructed them and the parts that I've used and where I purchased everything. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to show you my bait well battery, and I'm also going to show you my battery I made for my GPS. I had to run them in two separate ways. I have my bait well running at 6 volts, and obviously I have to have the GPS running at 12 volts, but I'm using 6 volt batteries only for the whole system. So I have 6 volt batteries running in the live well, and I wanted it just running as a 6 volt system. So I have those running in series so I can keep it at 6 volt. And I have 2 batteries running in parallel so I can make it a 12 volt system. I'll go a little deeper in depth on how I've done that, and also all the different ways I have hooked them up and the components I've used. Okay, the first thing I'm going to go over is the battery boxes. I just used a waterproof box that I got from Lowe's. It's a really nice box. I think they're right around $15. They're made by Husky, the Lowe's brand, and they have a really good positive clasp, closed down, really good seal around the outside, and I just like the slim design of it. You can fit a couple of nice batteries inside, and this battery box right here runs my GPS no problem all day long, 9-10 hours, and that's what I'm looking for. The most I can get out of my battery pack to run my GPS without having to worry about it dying. And that's the same. I use the same type for my for the live well because I just like the compact design of it. Husky does sell a little bit taller one, which is also really nice. I use this size to store different things on the kayak, but it has a rubber mat bottom, and it holds pretty much all your cell phones and all that type. Extra battery packs for charging the cell phones or stuff like that. I've seen a couple online that people have used these for their live wells, and these are, I want to say, only $10 at Walmart. They sell them a couple other different places, but Walmart sells them about the cheapest that I found. And it just all depends on what type of batteries you can get. And that's a good segue right into our battery sizes and types. These are all different batteries that I have, which I think this one here is a 12 volt, and you can use these to run straight for the GPS, but I wanted to find the perfect battery that would work in my battery box for my GPS, which was this battery here. It was a 6 volt battery. So when I ran it in series, it actually turned it into a 12 volt, and I wanted to get the most amp hours that I could in a combination of multi-batteries, so I used 2 batteries to do my GPS battery pack. And then with the same thing, the same size box, I was able to, I believe it's this battery, I was able to use this battery, which is a 6 volt battery, to run for my live well. So I think those are 8.5, these are 12 amp hour. So you have close to the same amount of amp hours with the 2 different types of batteries. I have a bunch of different sizes that you can try. You just go to the store. They're mostly, all these are alarm batteries. They're all sealed. Really easy to find, not that expensive. All right, now to go over a few different items that I use to put these boxes together. One of the most important things I think for me was the plug. I made sure I had a nice automotive style plug with a nice rubber seal. I bought them from China. I'm pretty sure I'll have all the links down below where I purchased them from. I think this one's not available anymore, but it will give suggestions, or I'll try to find one that is already assembled. Because this one, as you can see, it comes with so many little bits and pieces. And for my full-time job, I'm chief engineer of a hotel, and I mean, I've been doing that for 20-something years, so fixing things is so easy for me. And this actually took me a little bit, trying to figure out what part goes where, because there's different pins to go on one side to the other. But I just a little research online. I was able to find some directions, and just got to make sure you take your time and do it right. So that's why I said I'll probably put the one in the link that is already assembled. It's a lot better. But these are really good plugs. I really like them. This is the one, like I said, I have on my plug from my GPS. I actually have the actual plug. The other end of the plug is just in the kayak, just sitting there. So when I charge this up, I just plug it right in and I'm done. And what I do to charge them up is, on one side is I just have wires sticking out, and I have one end I put onto the my charger. I actually just cut the wires and put them onto my charger. I sacrificed that just charger for my GPS battery, a little cheap trickle charger, and just plug it in and it starts charging. It's great. So these are really nice plugs to have. Another very important thing, I think, is when you put a hole through the actual box, you want to keep this thing waterproof. So what I have there is the wire gland. The wire gland that goes through the side and actually keeps your wire nice and waterproof coming through the box. So the wire gland is just this piece, which I used a 7/8 drill bit on one, and I used actually a step bit on the other one. Step bits are really nice because you can actually drill a little bit farther, test it, drill a little bit farther. 7/8 all I could find at the moment, so it worked out, and I was able to force and screw it in since it was a thin plastic, but this worked really well. And what happens is you drill your hole, put through your piece of plastic, you tighten it up, and then on this other end is where your wire goes through, and there's a rubber piece inside that actually opens up, and it clamps around. Once this clamps, there's like a ferrule end, and it clamps and seals the wire across. It's called a wire gland. These are amazing. It the more you tighten up, it actually tightens around the wire nice and tight, keeps it waterproof. So if you want to do it right, I mean, these don't cost much either. I'll put the link in the description. I think for this whole pack, it was like $3, $4, next to nothing. And on my live well, I actually have a my live well. I put a waterproof switch and a rubber outside rubber coating for it. So that was so this is a waterproof switch. I mean, just a marine switch I use. This part isn't waterproof, but when you actually do pair it up with the little waterproof boot, makes a big difference. It just made it so nice. I was able to totally seal it up, plug it in. Don't have to unplug it and pull it off or anything like that. I don't have to plug it in. I just keep it on at all times, and I just start it up and go. And the ends I use for inside the battery box, I just use pieces of foam. This foam to hold, sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit. This foam I'm using to hold the batteries in place is foam for running on copper lines for AC. So that just holds, I just have it in here holding everything in place. You see I just have these wired up, the piece of wire going off the side for my charger end, and then I just have connectors. I just have connectors that I put on there for the batteries, and then all I do is just hook up my charger straight to that or plug it straight in. There's both ways I could do it. For the live well, I don't have a plug coming to the outside, so I actually hook it right onto the battery itself. But these are the ends I use. Didn't buy these online. I bought these at Home Depot, so I won't have a link, but I might try to find some for you. Just a standard female end. I just found one that would fit the battery terminals and go on there. And then what I did to secure the box to the live well box is, I don't know if you can see inside, there's a stainless steel screw washer, and inside the box, the bolts that come straight through. And everybody, when they I've seen many of these made, and they use a lot of silicone to silicone everything in place. I didn't silicone anything on mine, and I have something on the outside right here and right here. Like that was a mistake, and all I did was just snug it up, and no water comes out of that one or any other one. Even the bait box, the battery box, none of these leak. Nothing leaks on this thing, and there's not a drop of silicone on it. So I'm not sure why everybody uses silicone on it, but I didn't on mine. Anyways, back to the batteries. You see, I just I put cushion in between all of them. I just cut them in half so I could just fit it in there perfect. And I just made it just so they didn't bounce around. It's a very simple system. Like I said, it's 2 6-volt batteries. This is for a 12 volt. I have this for 12 volt. This is for my GPS. 2 6-volt batteries and this Husky box and a couple connectors and for some foam. There's really nothing to it. And then on the wire itself, I took some heat shrink. Just took some heat shrink, put it over the top of the wire, so I could just make sure the wires are nice. Keeps it nice and stiff. Keeps them protected. And that's pretty much it. The fasteners I used are all stainless. I use number 1024s, number 10 stainless washers, and 1024 3/4 inch stainless screws. Just picked these all up at Home Depot. Everything's here pretty reasonable price. Like I said, the box is like 15 bucks. Batteries are like 20 bucks a piece. The foam I just had from a job I did, and the connectors a couple bucks. A couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. I mean, you can make this next to nothing in comparison. If you have any other questions about this, I'm hoping I answered a couple of questions that people did have about how I did make these. Please let me know. Hey, thanks for stopping by Serious Fishing TV. I hope I answered all your questions about the batteries. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you could, please give me a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe. If there's any other videos you want to see about my kayak or about my setup or anything else on my kayak, please let me know. Fishing videos are coming very shortly, I promise. I'm just getting this channel back up and running again, and with daylight savings, I get off at 5. It's dark at 5:30, so it's super hard for me to get fishing. But I'm gonna going out this weekend, I hope, and start hitting every weekend and getting some videos out for you guys. We're gonna start pushing out some really good content, some really fun fishing spots, and hope to have a really good time with you. Any questions or comments, I'll answer them as quickly as I can down below. And thank you for watching, and see you next time on Serious Fishing TV.